So right now, Tony and I are getting ready to check out a 1971 Dodge Demon 340 automatic, Hemi Orange, because I, unlike some people, am willing to say I don't know everything about these cars.
He's
I know a lot.
He's A-body challenged.
I'm A-body challenged. So Tony is going to take me to school on A-bodies, and all y'all get to ride along and watch. Over the years, we've worked on a lot of different cars, but very, very few A-bodies. We got our '69 Cuda 383 4-speed car. We worked on the little Duster for Jim DeLucci, the '72. I know a little bit about them. I know enough to be dangerous. But when it comes to knowledge on all Mopar, I will say that Tony D'Agostino, hate to admit that, is super knowledgeable. There's a lot of knowledge up in that little Philly steak head of his, and I'm gonna tap into it right here. So, pretty cool car?
Very, very cool car.
Very, very car.
I mean, these are faded out, but these were black. This was a head turn.
Yeah.
This was a cool car.
We call them panty droppers, but that's a term we use out here because we're very... panty dropper's not a technical term. Hell no, it's not a technical term. Let's take a look under the hood and see what we got going on there. All right, here we go. Where do you want to start? This is a 340 automatic, correct?
340 automatic, you can tell by the kickdown linkage now that the hood's open.
All right.
Okay, well, first thing is we'll start at the top. This is the first year a thermoquad carburetor was used, and it's a specific carburetor. I mean, granted, every year carburetor, pretty much from 65 and newer was, I mean, even though essentially the same in many cases, the 71 340 thermoquad carburetor, number 4972 for a manual transmission or 4973 for an automatic transmission. Very rare and very sought after carburetor.
Okay.
And the easiest way to tell...
Yeah, at a glance, how can I tell them if I'm in a junkyard walking around?
Right. The idle mixture screws. Every other carburetor I know of comes out straight.
Oh, at that, they're kind of pitched?
Yeah, they're splayed. They come out on an angle each side.
That's 71 thermoquad only.
Right, and 72 thermoquad came out straight.
So this is the original carburetor based on what you're telling me. Or at least the correct one.
The correct year, yeah, absolutely. Another way to tell is...
Yeah, it's usually in the middle on the thermoquad, or off to the side.
Here, yeah. Right.
But it cuts through here somehow.
No, it goes above it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just located on the outside instead of on the inside.
But the butterfly is completely different because it has a provision.
It has a bracket on it. It has a little bracket spot weld.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So for me, this is the stuff I absolutely love. I know this stuff on a lot of the Mopars, just not the A-bodies. Tony has to know it, like I had said, because he got paid to know it. It's beneficial to me now to be able to pick his brain on it. Like on the butterfly, how would I know that's 71 only? I haven't even worked on very many thermoquads. So this is really interesting stuff for me.
Real interesting is it's not on the car, but you probably have one around here because it's the same air cleaner used on an E-body. The 70 and 71 340 air cleaner is a very unique air cleaner.
With the oval opening?
Right, it has two oval openings. It's weird. It's like they left the snorkels off. Why not?
Right.
And my theory is that on the A-bodies, well, 70 Dart specifically started, it's essentially same hood, because I believe that they were meant to have ducts that connect to the hood opening.
Because they're not functional, but they're cut out.
Right.
What Tony's talking about here is that, for whatever reason, the scoops that are on the hood were originally designed to be functional. You can tell because there are two openings that are cut out, just like you would see on any N96 Mopar hood back in the day. This one never had that. It had an air cleaner with no snorkels on it at all, but two oval holes. So we're kind of hypothesizing that at one time that was intended to have ducts coming off of it and going up into the hood itself so that it would bring in the cold air. They were wide open, and they had, I don't know where his are at.
They call it diffusers. They were these rubber gaskets that went around.
It's a grommet opening, right?
Yes, exactly, yeah.
So there were other muscle cars in that area that used...
Yeah, 442s.
Right, I was going to say
442s did.
Exactly what I was
Because they had the stuff from underneath the bumper that
it was coming in off the beak.
Yep.
Yeah, they built these in Hamtramck. So yeah, anybody that worked at Hamtramck in 1970 and 71 that was involved with these, tell us why it's all set up for cold air induction.
I don't know if that's assembly line or really that would be more of engineering.
Here's a great example of what I'm talking about. Tony just steps on everything that I say. It has to be exactly out of his mouth or it's wrong. It's 2021. So it doesn't matter if I use the wrong terminology. I'm not gonna get a call from heaven saying, hey, this is Angel Bill. I used to work on the assembly line and I was in, engineering. Let it be, like the Beatles, man. Let it be. Show me something else.
Okay.
Take me to school. Are those bolts right, by the way, that hold the carburetor?
Yeah, they have the three hash marks on them. Yep.
That would be the same bolt, quite possibly.
Yep.
That would hold other carburetors
yes.
on. Okay.
It's a 71, probably across the board kind of thing, at least on 4 barrels.
Is that master cylinder unique to an A-body?
It's a disc brake master cylinder. You can tell by the large size of it.
Yeah.
And if you also notice the offset, it's sort of like a mini Hemi.
Yeah, I see that.
But
on the power brake booster, yeah.
To give clearance again, I'm assuming, you know, for valve cover.
Now there's your spring clamp that goes on the or one-way check valve.
Yep.
And I don't know what they call those, but I call it a spring clamp.
Yeah,
it's good enough. See how we're selective about when we need to be right? If we don't know the answer, it's not important. Just call it anything. This is true. When we know something, you hear us just rattle it off. 2998, 956 radiator. But when you come across a spring clamp that you don't know what it's called, you usually just say, yeah, that there's a spring clamp. It doesn't matter. It's not important. You know, sleight of hand. Don't look over here. Look over here. What you gonna do? Call the cops?
But you were saying earlier, well, why doesn't it have 26-inch like the E-bodies?
The E-body.
The A-bodies didn't get 26-inch radiators till later on.
Even with air. So is it a wider?
It's a three row.
It is a three row.
It's a three row.
Got it. It's always weird to me to figure out what Chrysler was thinking. So, like Tony says, an E-body in 1970 and 71. Guaranteed if it had a 340, it had a 26-inch radiator. With air, without air, didn't matter, it had a 26-inch radiator. Now that same philosophy doesn't apply on all the B-bodies. So, for example, we had a 71 Charger back in season 3. It was a 446-pack automatic transmission, had a Ram Charger hood on it, triple green car, gorgeous car. That car had a 22-inch radiator from the factory. You would have thought that would be max cooling. You go back to some of the cars that we've done recently. The Z 1968 Dodge Charger, 440 Magnum automatic, the MM1 turbine bronze, 22-inch radiator. So for whatever reason, they wanted the big radiator on the 340, but weren't as concerned on a 440, which typically run hotter than the 340s.
I think we got it covered pretty much under the hood for the majority of stuff.
Take a look at the rest of the car maybe, huh?
Yeah, why not? Looking at this car as a whole, I know it's an A-body, usually not as sexy as E-bodies or whatnot, but this car has it all for looks. I mean, gosh, the colors, the stripes, the scoops.
Even the black top on the little A-body looks great when it's against that.
The black hood, the black out on the hood, the black stripes. This car, orange seats.
This is such a loaded, unique little car. It would not surprise me at all if this was a one-of-one car.
I mean, as far as this A-bodies go, this is, I mean, not a big block course wasn't available, but this is at top of the heap for eye appeal.
So just for the record, when you're talking about the Dodge Demon,
71 and 2 only.
71 and 2 only. Now, why is it 71 and 72 for the Demon? Why they came in 71 and it left in 72?
Well, the car didn't leave. The name changed. It changed to Dart Sport. Okay, in 73.
Something upsetting about the Demon.
The religious conservatives got on Chrysler because of the Demon. Even though he's smiling all, but it's still a demon.
It's
the devil.
It is the devil.
Like you would refer to me sometimes, the devil.
Many times. You know, ironically, there is a picture that was floating around a while back on the internet of Tony D'Agostino as that little devil dude. You know what I'm saying? Coincidence? I'm not too sure of that. So, did I make the picture? What? Where? This is Vinny Barbarino, man.
So Dodge succumbed, and they end up changing.
They pulled it over politics, I guess.
Call it a Dart Sport.
The Dodge Demon is back. And when the Demon did come back, it came back with a vengeance. That was the fastest production car in the world at the time in 2018. Created 840 horsepower, had drag slicks off the showroom floor, 0 to 60 in 2.3 seconds. How about a 945 quarter mile at $140? Okay? Bring out your Fords and your Chevys and all your rubbish, but you guys will never be the man.
But one thing that anybody, a non-car person, would realize, look at the rear side marker shape. It's rectangular.
Chrome.
Like a 70, well, just the shape. Let's go with that first, okay?
Yeah.
Duster, that's a Duster
it's a 70
side marker.
Duster side marker.
70, 71 Duster, right, but it's chrome. Dusters weren't chrome. Why is this chrome? Because the 70 and 71 darts
match the Dart
had a chrome, but the shape isn't the same.
So just to clarify, on your Plymouth Duster, it used a small square side marker, both at the front and at the rear. But remember, this car doesn't have a Plymouth Duster front end on it. It has a Dodge Dart front end on it. So it had a rectangular shaped side marker, but it was also chromed. That's a Roadrunner. That's a 70 Roadrunner.
Right, the lenses are actually the same for 70 Roadrunner. Yep, same lens.
But those are all painted on a Roadrunner, on a Belvedere.
Plymouths are painted.
They didn't want that to stand out too badly, so they took the normally painted on a Duster, which would never be chrome, and chromed it.
Dodges, for some reason, they decided in 1970.
Dress them up a little bit,
Dodges have chrome.
Charger,
like the Charger, Coronet, Challenger.
Yeah.
And that's why the Superbirds that had 70 Coronet fenders, that had chrome side markers in them, but the painted
bezels for the side markers
in the rear.
It's just kind of an interesting little thing. Even though they're completely different shapes, at least at a glance, they're both chrome.
But it's a very original car. It's still got the dark orange wheel centers.
71.
71,
70
right?
is light.
Yep, and that was...
and the beauty rings. Well, the beauty rings on the 14-inch are the same in 70 and 71.
Oh, yeah.
The 15s are shiny in 70 and brushed in 71. Okay. Tiger Paw Uniroyal tires. I love those.
Yep.
I used to call Royal Uniroyal, Tiger Paw Uniroyal, because of his name.
This is a small bolt pattern car that was used on all A bodies through 72.
On the bolt pattern, the small versus large, what it is the A bodies, typically speaking, other than the ones Tony's talking about now, were a 5 lug on a 4-inch pattern. Whereas the rest of the cars, the rest of the Mopars and Fords and AMCs were a 5 lug on 4.5-inch pattern. So it was just a smaller pattern. So if you were looking for cool mags for your 70 Duster, you're not gonna get them off of a 1970 Charger. They're gonna be a small bolt pattern. Those are very desirable today. All Demons wouldn't have automatically come with belt. This is part of it being a 2-tag car, you think? Or could it?
It's definitely got, well, it's got the rocker moldings, wheel open moldings.
I mean, it's loaded.
Yeah.
Maybe it's part of a molding package, too.
It could be part of a molding package, a decor package. Like I said, I'm not the biggest A-body thing. It'd be good to look in an option book.
You know, it seemed kind of weird that there were so many moldings on this car, and it got us both thinking about could it be a package, and it was. It actually was an A46 molding group package. So that's what gave it the chrome treatment on the grille. That's what gave it the rocker moldings, the belt moldings, the lower deck lid moldings, the wheel opening moldings. So it was all part of a package. A lot of times in a group, where this one's the A46 molding group, you won't individually see every single molding called out on the fender tag. Boy, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to know more about the interior, so let's take a look at it.
Let's do that. That's really cool. All 70 and 71 340A bodies came with Rally Dash as standard.
Yeah.
All 67 to 9 Barracudas, whether it was a 6-cylinder or a Hemi, came with Rally Dash. But 67 to 9 Darts, you couldn't get a Rally Dash in. They weren't available.
But there's something like that in the B-body lineup too, right? Is it the Roadrunner?
Oh, no,
16?
No, the Roadrunners, you couldn't get Rally Dash till 70. But on Super Bs, the cheaper model came standard with Rally gauges, but on the 68 to 70 Carnet RTs, the higher end model with the bucket seats and everything, they came with the long, the
long one with
the long non-Rally
layout,
dash.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's interesting how Chrysler broke up the two different brands. You had your Plymouth muscle car and your Dodge muscle car, where the Plymouth was the entry-level car. So if you had a 68 Roadrunner, the dash in it, no matter how much money you had, it could have a Hemi in it. The dash assembly in it looked just like a 1968 Plymouth Satellite. It was no different, all right? It was the long, what do they call it, the log-style speedometer. Nothing trick, nothing unique about it. But if you had a 68 Coronet RT and you had that same long one, you would have the 150-mile-an-hour speedometer. You could get the full rally instrumentation in a 68 Super B and couldn't get it in a Roadrunner until 1970, and then it was standard equipment in the Roadrunners and in the Super Bs. Part of the Rally, the 150-mile-an-hour speedometer is part of the Rally dash.
In 70 and 71, 67 to 9 Barracudas, only the performance models got the 150. If it was a 6-cylinder or 318 car, you got 120.
So my Dodge Charger, standard, and it was a stripper model car, had a full Rally instrumentation with a 150-mile-an-hour speedometer. Even if it had had a slant 6 in it, a 318 in it, it would have had a 150-mile-an-hour speedometer. Kind of interesting. Whereas, again, you go back to the muscle car, go back to that 68, 69 Roadrunner with the only dash that you could get, and it maxed out at 120. Kind of interesting. Factory tack in 85?
Yep, factory tack.
Full instrumentation. And this is an air conditioning car.
Yeah, loaded up. This car,
it's just loaded.
I mean, I didn't look at the radio code, but it really surprised me if it wasn't AM/FM.
Right, or something trick. You know, surprisingly, this car was not an upgraded radio. It's an R11, which is the AM Music Master. But like Tony said, with all of the other options, as robust as this car was ordered, you would have thought somebody would have spent a little bit more and got an AM/FM. They didn't. The seats that you're looking at, tell me about them.
That is so cool. The seats and the door panels are orange. It's just such a neat thing.
Now,
71 Cudas had something like that.
Would they refer, I don't think this is the one they would refer to as a Halloween interior, because I think the real Halloween, the seat itself was orange and black, like an orange insert and a black skirting.
That was coined by a guy that had a 71 Hemi Roadrunner that was orange
Orange and black
orange seats, right? He was trying to give it, I guess, some kind of name or identity. Some identity. So he was known as the Halloween car.
You know, it's interesting how phrases get coined. The Halloween cars, right? I've ran into guys over the years, I've even called them that, Halloween cars. It means it's a car that is orange and black everywhere. Orange on the outside, orange on the inside with black trim. So we call it a Halloween car. That was never a package. That is not a Chrysler definition. That is not a Chrysler name. These are just an orange seat.
Right.
There's nothing Halloween about that seat.
But orange against the black.
Well, except that the seat backs are black. How about that? You know, in a nutshell, that's the A-body for us. The basic 1, 2, 3s of an A-body are covered in that, and I do appreciate Tony taking time to go over that with me. That's good stuff. Well, thank you, sir.
No, neat car.
Appreciate all the tutorials. Knew most of it anyway, but you know. You shaking your head?
I'm just here for the ride.
Hello Ghouls, Mark Warman here, the Ice Tray from Graveyard Carz. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it, drop a comment down below, and subscribe to our channel. We have fantastic stuff coming up, and some of it you've never seen before. I gotta go insult people. Hey Alice!